Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And with the rerun of the Goddess of Destiny beatdown battle, this gives all new players an opportunity to acquire the free-to-play Triya unit, who is very much a worthy pickup for everyone who doesn't have her. Like, she's not like she's kinda good, but you can skip her kind of free-to-play unit. She's like if you need a green orb changer, you must use Triya kind of green orb changing good free-to-play unit. So today's video, we're going to be going through beatdown battle. I'm actually probably going to go into like Inferno 3, because if it can clear Inferno 3, it can definitely very well clear Extreme 3. So no worries there, but if you want to, continue up the ladder, you certainly can. And we're going to use a number of teams today. It might be a long video, I will have timestamps. But we're going to start off with the actual Gods of Destiny team so you can see how it works, and then we'll move on from there. Yeah, let's just jump in. Alright, so first off is the Goddess of Destiny team, as I would normally play. We got Mirren, we've got Protector Shuna underneath, because the main damage dealer is Shuna, and she's also light magic. Light magic makes sense. We've got the Hero 2.0. She's physical, so she's not getting the guaranteed crits, but she's here more for her ult swapping ability and her 25-point debuff, because we are capped at 100 points on this team, and if we add up the Hero, Rain, Soka, and Shuna, that's 100 points on the full nuke, so that's why she's here. Triya is here, turn 1 orb change. Rain, green buff, magic buff. Soka, attack buff, the feature Hannah Greens, yeah. And then Shuna's the DPS, so it's pretty straightforward. Alright, so we do have, the turn 1 orb change with Triya, and because we're holding Shuna in the back, it pretty much eliminates like 98% of the RNG that turn 2s normally have, because we can just steal. And the odds of you getting 3 orbs for one of these characters up front is probably quite high, so there's not really too much to worry about there. We're running the big 3. You could very certainly run like the skill point units, so like Space Millum, Wind Lumi, Water Soe, and have extra skill points, so turn 1 you would be able to... Wow, did that really... Okay, no, we have Soka. So you'd be able to use like the Rain green buff alongside the orb change. Certainly possible. I just didn't do it here. So we've got 3 Soka orbs, so you know what? Let's go ahead and use her future orb. Let's use the Rain green buff now, and then we will bring in Shuna to steal those Soka orbs, which is why we wanted to use that skill first. So what's that? That's guaranteeing that we have 6 Shuna orbs. We have the green buff, which is only hitting 2 orbs right now, and the entire next hand will be green orbs, which is the more important thing. And we'll go ahead and use Mirren now, just so we get a little bit extra damage, because this Grucius has like 1.2 million HP, which is a decent amount for a burst team, especially one of I guess it's not super old, but it's maybe one of the lesser powerful burst teams, I guess. Alright, so there's the follow-up orbs, 13, 13, 13. He is still able to guard them. Kind of unfortunate. We are binded in, which is why I was really grateful to leave the hero up here, because we can swap the ult away, and that turns that into a green, and then we could do this, and that gets us the EX ult. But if I want to really, really maximize, we should be doing this, and then we can use the Shuna buff, because hers lasts for 2 turns. So we'll have the guaranteed crits, which means we'll get the crit damage, the light buff, and this will be active also next turn when we're actually ready to nuke here. Now, if I wanted to, we could do like this instead, but we don't have the attack buff from Soka, so we'll just build up for the EX ult as well. So we'll steal the orbs, we'll give ourselves the buff, 6-hand to Shuna. We're going to be looking quite good. We have the extra skill point gain from Mirren, so we're going to have max points. And we do 41k a hit here if he's not guarding them, which he's guarding a lot. 86k, and then the follow-ups come in for 20 apiece, and then 40-ish. And then the bind should wear off, there we go. And then we'll do the resistance down. The rain buff, because it's on turn 4, is now not as efficient, because for the first 3 turns it's a 40% buff and a 20% resistance down, and now after turn 4 it's a 20%, which is why I'm really not a huge fan of rain, because 3 turns is just, it's not a long time. Like, we were not able to get the EX ult until turn 4 here, so I really don't like rain too much, which is why this meta overall is not terribly impressive. But we've got the Soka buff, or not the Soka buff, but the Shuna buff already active. We've got the resistance down. We'll do the 45% attack buff. We'll do the 20% magic buff and 20% resistance down. 25 points left over. Can't use it for anything. And then we'll use Mirren again to give ourselves the crit and the follow-up orb. And then this EX ult should kill him, and we'll move on to the next team. And we'll just send Shuna orbs. So this does 446, 1, 2, and 3. But it's okay, because we've got follow-up. 90k, 12k, 27k. Boom. There we go. Okay, so the Gods of Destiny team, 4 turns. Obviously can do it. It's the team that's meant to be used here. Let's move on. Alright, next is the Pretty Sparkle team with Idol Rimuru and Tsubasa, Mirai, Shizuka. Again, EX Rain is here. And then Octogram Lumi. So this team is a magic team. It's focused on green orbs. A lot of green orbs, and we've got many different types of buffs that, while we're not doing like the follow-up burst damage, we're going to slowly whittle him down because we will be stacking up damage here and there. So even though we don't have like the extra 6% damage buff, only one of our units has type advantage, and it's the free-to-play unit, we're still going to be okay. We might not do it in 4 turns. In fact, I can guarantee we're not going to do it in 4 turns, but we can still get it done. But because Tsubasa has the same orb chain, well, almost the same orb change as the Traya, we can get away with turn 1 here using her. Again, you could bring the skill point units and you could use the rain buff here if you wanted to, but I'm not really going to worry about it. We'll bring Mirai and Shizuka in. That's going to give us a lot of protection gauge next turn as well. And then we just stack. On stack, on stack, on stack. And we will eventually do 1.2 million damage. Maybe not quickly, but eventually. So, okay, that's actually a really good hand right there. So let's do the alt buff. Let's do the 2 buffs from Shizuka. Actually, you know what? No, let's do the alt buff. Let's do the future hand. And then let's do the Mirai buff as well. And then we'll use Rimuru to convert that 1 blue, which seems like a big old waste, but it is what it is. The next hand will be guaranteed. Greens will have an alt for Mirai. Cool. We'll launch it off. I'm not really concerned about holding EX alts with this team. It's meant to just send alts left and right, and they'll eventually do more and more damage, and you will eventually kill. But there's the future hand of greens right there. We're binded in. I really don't care, because Reamer's going to reset all those costs. We'll use the next live mode, plus the alt resistance down, plus the weakness buff, which doesn't really matter here, because none of our units up front are type advantage. So really using this isn't really necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, and it does heal. You know, it more so I'm using it for the heal than anything else. But we're going to save this Rimuru. We're just going to send these. We're going to have a Shizuka alt next turn. We've got double Rimuru. Perfect. And then, you know, by next turn, the Mirai buff and the Lumi buff will be reset back down, and we will just continue on like this. So I think I'm going to fast forward here, because it's going to be a while. And we'll also be invincible once we take Lumi out of here. So yeah. I'm going to fast forward, and we'll get to, like, the nuke turn, or the kill turn. Okay, we are back. I believe we've maxed out Lumi, so we don't need to use her anymore. Let's go ahead and... So we have 70 points. Let's go ahead and bring in Rain, and we can use her little magic buff. It's only 20%, and with the 20% resistance down, doesn't really matter. And then we'll have enough points to then use Tsubasa and her attack buff, which I don't know where that's is. It's only at 30%. So if we were to take this ult, it would be at 40. He's not going to live, so we'll just do this. Everybody gets the attack buff. Shizuka and Mirai have the magic buff, the temporary buff. Now another stack of Rimuru, and he's he's dead. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, a longer than 4 turns, but does he actually die here? Hold on. He didn't actually die. What a little dick. Alright, well, no one can die because we're invincible. So there's that, I guess. So now Mirai's gonna kill him, and there's just no stopping that. So there you go. There's a pretty Sparkle team. Another green magic-focused team with small buffs that get reset constantly, so that's always good. It can do it, and you literally can't die. So, I mean, if you have a lot of pretty Sparkle units, you literally can't die. So that's one way to do it. Let's move on to another fairly popular green-focused team that can survive a long time. Oh my god, guys, it's the Vengeance team. Who'd have thought that the Vengeance team would be really good in this stage? Oh, right. I would. And, other people, granted. I'm not the only one who thinks the Vengeance team is good. But, the Vengeance team. Another green-focused magic team that will kill the stage. Again, not in 4 turns. But, like the legend of the Vengeance meta said when it first came out, if you can't die, you will win. And we proved that in the last fight, right, with the Pretty Sparkle team. We literally could not take damage for a lot of turns unless he was hitting Octogram Lumi. And then, we were healing that damage back anyways with Shizuka. So if you cannot die, you will win. It may not be quick, but the death by 1,000 cuts or 1,000 lightning strikes in this version of the game. We'll take Trya out, we'll bring Raphael in, and then we will just run like this. And actually, you know what? We'll send Yom last, because he is light. He does have type advantage now, doesn't he? We brought Aaron instead of Isis or like the Wind Veldora that I would normally have, because she's magic and she's, an orb changer. It's unfortunate that... Okay. Talking about unfortunate. Orb change? Oh man, talking about unfortunate. Speaking of, Aaron, get out of here. We'll do that. And then we'll do the Vengeance, and we'll reset Trya's orb change, and I guess we're just gonna have to run with this. We'll leave Trya up front. Hopefully that does not come back to bite us. We cannot apply any Vengeance here because the game said, hey, I know you like Vengeance, but I'm going to shit all over you anyways. Alright, took a counter there. Actually, that's a lot more damage than I thought Raphael would take. But again, we don't have all of our buffs up. Alright, that, I guess, okay, well. Well, okay, so what we can do is we can guard, Vengeance, seal, and then use Velzard to reset the orb change to get a nice full hand of greens again. And now we've got quite a bit of defense going on. It's just that Yom took quite a bit of damage there. How high is his attack? Is 18k normally? All right, that's hefty. Okay, I'll respect that. Doesn't matter here though, because we are not going to take really any damage here. We've got a lot of defense, guaranteed guard. We've got the seal on. We've got the element resistance. We've got the physical resistance. This will lower his physical attack from the alt effect, and we'll take like 50 damage, if not 1. Maybe. And, 607 right there, okay. Okay, well, to be fair, we actually took a lot more damage. And what are these orbs, man? Okay, let's do that. Well, let's do that. Alright, Trya, you get out of here. We'll bring Shuna in. And then we'll use Yom's orb change. And we'll go ahead and... we'll put the defense and the Vengeance and the guard back up. Okay, so if Shuna doesn't have anything going on for her, as far as Vengeance is concerned, we're still going to make use of it. So this will counter power down. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Not important. What is important is getting hit. We're up to 18 stacks already. Alright, this hits, of course, the one character who doesn't have Vengeance on, because... Why wouldn't he? Right? Why wouldn't he do that? 1, go fuck yourself. 2, we gotta use 2 orb changes and 2 vengeances? Alright, well, we can definitely do that. So, 1 orb change. Boom. Velzard, reset everything. And then more defense. And orb change. Orb change. Guard, vengeance. Up to 25 stacks. Alright, this is turn 5, so now the vengeance will start coming into play here. And we'll see how much it does when he has 18k attack. 25 stacks. Alright, there's another stack right there. And there's 3 more stacks. Alright. 29 does 261,000 damage. That's acceptable. I kind of wish I had a healer. Maybe... I think I'm running the protection charm on here. Yeah, protection gauge on greens right there. So maybe a healer would come into play, like Trainee or something like that. She could be useful instead of Shuna, who's literally done nothing this entire match, because for some reason they decide to release a damaging unit in a defensive meta. Don't ask me why. You could put Soe instead of her. You could put, Traya. You could put, what's her face? The EX Mirren, for her defensive buffs and all that. There's a lot more options than bringing that little furry Shuna. All right. Normal attacks, not doing much, but we're doing 260k per vengeance now, minimum, when it's only going to go up because we've applied even more now, and he's going to hit us. Super guard. All right, we're binded. Terrible tragedy, because, we've got our orb changers up front, and we definitely need them. So, orb change. And reset. And is he ulting? He's not ulting. Orb change, vengeance, vengeance. Oh my god. How much did we do last turn? We did like 350k or something like that on the vengeance, and now we're going to do probably like 400k now. Because he's going to hit us again with, I think, another AoE. Please counter me. This is like the one team that I actively am searching for counterattacks. AoE, yep. 3 more stacks right there. Perfect. 42 stacks. Vengeance, 45. 405,000, and the motherfucker's dead. So, I mean, we don't have to do anything. We'll do this. We'll put guard up. We'll seal hit. I don't think he raises his attack at all, but, I mean, he's Dunzos. Dunzo Onezos. Physical attack down on the alt effect from Raphael. Boom, boom. And we're going to do like 500k or something right here. 8,000 damage on Aaron's not great, but up to 50 stacks and 450k. There we go. Vengeance. Actually took more damage than the Idol team. I won't put it past it, but still able to do it. Okay, so for the last green-focused team, we got to do a few things. We got to clarify. So we've dropped down to EX3 beatdown battle, because I did use this stage in Inferno 3, and it horribly underperformed, which is kind of surprising, actually. So we're going to go down to EX3. This is the last stage you need to get the dupe of Traya, that you have to actually complete something. The rest of them are farmed up from the event shop for beatdown. So this team can do EX3, no problem. It will very much struggle to do anything above it, which is surprising because we've got Veldora, who is a stacking green protector. He gives up to a 70% magic buff. We've got Soe, who's orb changing from oranges to greens. He's skill fused, so he's got the attack down and the defense up for our team. Dark Milim is here for the orb change and the alt buff. Light Leon is here for the light buff. We're making Blanc our damage dealer because she is light magic, and the stage wants a light magic enemy or unit. And then we've got Isis. So we've got all of the orb changes covered. We've got the green buff. We've got 4 pretty big time buffs coming in. And it didn't do, like, for a second, just think about that. 70% magic buff, 100% weakness strike, 70% alt buff, 50% light buff. What do you think that would equal out to with an EX alt from a 120 Blanc? A 120 Blanc. Like, how much would you think? You'd think like 800,000, 600,000, like the lowest that you could probably go. No, bitch. We did 368k in Inferno 3. Like, that was shockingly bad. I don't know how else to explain it except terrible. I don't know why. Like, yeah, we're not on, like, the Visions of Coleus team. We don't have the super big-time Jean buffs and the big-time magic buff. We're not getting the synergy buff. But still, like, those are some big buffs, and for only 368k on an EX alt from a level 120 EX character that came out, you know, like, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. Like, ooh. Don't like the sight of that. Let's go ahead and get Millum out of here. Well, in case you guys didn't notice, we did start with the skill point units up front. So Soe and he had Space Millum, which gave us 42 points to start. So we had enough to use both the Millum orb change plus the Isis green buff. So that gave us, you know, quite a bit of gauge, 100 skill points. So we're looking pretty good. Soe is skill fused, so we'll go ahead and use that. We'll use his orb change, and that'll cover the oranges down here. We will reset this, which will also raise our skill cap. Every time we use a skill in general, Veldora gets another 5% to his magic buff, which does cap at 70%, like I've been talking about. And since we have Blanc here, we are able to alt swap away, so we're able to save up for an EX alt. So you do have to play around a bit because she's converting the alt to a blue orb and not a green orb, but it is something. So EX, like, obviously we're doing pretty well. That's a terrible hand, though. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much. We're just gonna pretend that hand didn't happen. It didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a little better. Okay, so let's do the let's do the Isis orb change. We'll get Soe out of here. Let's use the green buff again. Actually, you know what? Let's bring Millum in. Let's bring Millum in for Isis. And that way, we can use the alt swap ability, and that'll convert that to a blue. We'll use Millum to not Millum, but Veldora to reset all of our skills, and then that will allow us to use Millum's orb change to its fullest potential. We'll go ahead and reapply the defense and attack down on Grucius so we can tank this alt a little better, and we'll keep on working towards the EX alt for Blanc, which we have. We need 190 skill points, by the way, to full nuke here, so we need to go at least one more turn. But, in EX, the difference between EX3 and Inferno 3, as far as the health pool is concerned, is like 700,000 HP, right? Because this Grucius in EX3 has like 350k or something like that. 363. Yeah, Inferno 3 has 1.2 million. So it's actually more than 700,000, right? It's almost a million HP difference. So if you're gonna try and use this team, because it is full of old units plus a brand spanking new unit, I mean, if your only goal is to get the Triad dupes, then this team will certainly do it for you. But anything outside of that, and you're maybe asking a little bit too much. So, let's go ahead and alt swap these away again, and that'll do this. And then we'll get Soe out of here. We'll bring Isis in, and we will reset all of our orb changes. By this point, we should be capped out on the Veldora after we're done here, if we're not already capped out. We need 2 more skills. So, 1, 2. There's the 2 skills. Full hand of greens. We've got the EX alt for Blanc already. He's going to die next turn, and we can all, be a little bit happier with our lives. 229 points is looking pretty good. Again, we only needed 190. And because I know how much damage Blanc does in this kind of scenario, she's going to kill. She would kill from full HP if we were able to just get an EX and a whole bunch of points. Like, she will do more than 363,000 damage here, but only by a little tiny bit. So that's kind of the unfortunate aspect. So we'll go ahead and do the weakness strike. Again, we're not benefiting from the synergy resistance unless we happen to naturally hit synergy, which is asking a little bit. So there's a 50% light buff, 70% magic buff, 100% weakness strike. We're going to give her the 70% magic buff here, and we will annihilate Grucius, and that will be the end of the video. So if you happen to use this team, then I would only take it into EX3, nothing higher than that. We do 421k because his defense is lower as well. So there we go. Multiple teams that can take on Beatdown Battle. Most of them can do Inferno 3, this one can't, but it's all to get the dupes for the free-to-play triad more than anything, so any one of these teams will work. I will do another video. I'll try and brute force this with the Visions of Coleus team. I make no promises, though. But that'll be a different video. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any other team comps that were able to clear it, put them in the comments below so other people can see. But that's it for me. Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all later.